Okay, here we are then, guys. I'm going to show you some pictures I took from a few movies where I began to notice this gigantic occult ring on these actors' fingers. It's always their third finger, in some cases their wedding finger, and I noticed it first of all at Hillsong, and I thought, what on earth is going on here? Why are all of these people, the leaders at this church, wearing these enormous occult rings on their third fingers? They normally have like jewels in them, like rubies or sapphires. They're the two most popular. And once you noticed it the first time you see it, it's like it just keeps appearing. I probably wouldn't have noticed this had I watched these movies and not seen it first of all. I just would have missed it completely. However, what was really creepy was when I did notice it, it appeared in every movie I watched consecutively. It happened so many times, it was like unavoidable, that I finally decided to start taking some pictures of this. What is going on with these enormous occult rings in these films? If anybody knows, please let me know what's going on here. I mean, it's obviously them again, you know, the Freemasons, some secret society behind it all in Hollywood. But I'd like to know what it means. I think there's witchcraft involved here. Perhaps they have magical powers, or they think they have magical powers, or they're just trying to brag. They just want to show off. One thing I noticed is you'll see these rings appearing in a lot of sci-fi movies. Okay, they like to brag that they got a man on the moon, you know, with the moon landings. Buzz Aldrin, he is a Freemason, okay, and they like to be in control, you know, dominate everything. So that's most likely why Buzz, was a Freemason. They got a Freemason up there, straight away. Anyway, this is from the movie Die Hard. Okay, of all things, and it wasn't just this guy's occult ring, you know, that appeared. He's wearing something else, a bracelet on his wrist here, and I think this is most likely blue sapphire, and this would be gold. Now I noticed that Freemasons, they use these colours a lot, okay, yellow or orange and blue. The yellow represents the sun, the blue the sky, okay, it's pagan once again. So you'll see that with a lot of these, a lot of this jewellery. Anyway, let's keep going through them. Here it is again, bigger. Looks like some kind of cross. Could be masonic. Okay, so this one is from the movie We Were Soldiers. And this happened right at the beginning of the movie. It just stuck out at me straight away. It was shouting at me, this one, because I'd seen it just before in other films. And just look at it. It's enormous. It's an occult ring once again, and he is wearing it on his wedding finger. Okay, this is Mel Gibson, right at the beginning of the film. So, I mean, look at how committed these guys are. I mean, have these actors been told to wear these rings? I don't know. But you'll notice it he's wearing it all the way through the movie, okay? Even when he goes over there and he's fighting in Vietnam, you see it on his finger, and it just really stands out, okay, once you've seen it. And this one is from the movie Deep Impact. Sci-fi, like I said, they really like to go for the sci-fi, once again bragging that they were the first ones into space. And again, it's obviously the Freemasons behind this, okay? An enormous ring. This looks like blue sapphire with gold. And then this, I saw this recently, Ladder 49, and yeah, it seemed like a great movie. But then it got kind of odd, because at the end, yeah, they kind of flipped the script a bit. They didn't have 49 on their helmets. It'd become 33. Yeah, that number again. What a coincidence, 33. And yeah, this happened right at the end of the movie. It seemed like a great film, but then they just had to go and do this again, didn't they? Look, they're really showing it off there, look. Okay. So, I mean, it's bizarre, isn't it? What is the obsession? And there was a scene in this movie about the guy's ring, although I didn't see any relevance in this case. It wasn't the same kind of ring. It wasn't a masonic ring. But that didn't stop them from putting this right at the end of the movie here. Number 33 degrees of Freemasonry once again. This number just keeps on appearing, doesn't it? Anyway, there was another sci-fi movie. Again, I watched all of these consecutively, and yeah, the right stuff. In that movie, the guy is wearing, I think it's on his wedding finger again, an enormous occult ring on his wedding finger. Anyway, I'm going to find that on my phone. Yeah, I didn't include that, but I've got it. I'm going to find it for you and put it on the screen here so you can see that one. And then I'm going to go through a video I started doing last year, a Hillsong video about Masonic rings, because I noticed it at their Christmas performance. Their occult Christmas, they were all wearing these rings, and this is when I first noticed all of this, and then I started seeing it in all the movies as well. So I'll go through those clips as well that I recorded a long time ago, and I was going to get around to doing a video on it, but it kind of got put on hold. But now is the perfect time to go through that as well. Dig up that other research I did on these rings. Here's the other one, look, from the movie The Right Stuff, which was a bit before my time, but I saw online that it was a great film, and I got it on Blu-ray, and yeah, it was an amazing movie. But this appeared once again. An enormous occult ring, and again on this guy's wedding finger. It almost looks identical to the one we just saw on Mel Gibson's wedding finger in the movie We Were Soldiers. So, if any of you know what on earth is going on here, I would like to know. Have these actors all been told to wear these rings, or are they in fact Freemasons who own these rings and are wearing them in these films? I don't know, but one thing I do want to know is what on earth's going on here? I want to get to the bottom of this, because if there's witchcraft involved, then I want to know if I'm being manipulated by them, and I'm sure you would want to as well. And it's yet another movie about venturing off into outer space. Yeah, we founded America, we control Hollywood, and we put a man on the moon. Well, I did my best to try and justify why all these leaders at Hillsong on stage are wearing these gigantic gold rings on their wedding fingers. You know, I came up with excuses for them, like perhaps it's a commitment to God, or it has their favourite scripture on there. But no. I'm going to show you the ring that Brian Houston was wearing at the Easter Sunday ritual they performed this year, and it doesn't look like that is the case at all. There's nothing written on there. You can see clearly there's some kind of symbol, and you've got lines going up and down in opposite directions, you know, diagonally across this ring. And I thought, okay, let's have a look online for some Masonic rings. And the most expensive Masonic ring money can buy is this one right here. Yeah, on this website, Masonic jewellery, and oh look, it looks pretty much identical to the big gold coin-like ring that Brian Houston is wearing, and many others were wearing at their 2019 Christmas carols. You can see they're practically all of them are wearing this big gold ring. I'm like, what's going on here? Well, there you go, folks. Yeah, I've got him. The big man himself, Brian Houston, is wearing this big gold Masonic ring on his wedding finger. So there you go, folks. And well, he's a Freemason, and that changes everything. Oh dear, Brian. That is a symbol. That is definitely a symbol. It could be a Masonic symbol, that. Alright. And the rest of the ring looks identical to this Masonic ring. Yeah. There you go. There you go. It's the Order of the Secret Monitor Solid 9-carat gold Masonic ring, which costs £650, and the guy has the cheek to ask everyone to give to his church whilst wearing this gigantic gold 9-carat ring that costs £650. Oh dear. Like I said, if this guy's a Freemason, and well, he's wearing a Masonic ring, so what do you think that means? Then that changes everything, you know. Completely different ball game now. And it looks like the interwoven star that is Solomon's seal, that coincidentally the Freemasons use on this Order of the Secret Monitor gold ring. And the reason the Freemasons use Solomon's seal is because they regard Solomon very highly. I spoke to a Freemason at the swimming pool that I was working in years ago. He was the duty manager, and apparently he was a master mason, and because I was asking him questions about it, he was very interested in me and trying to get me to join. because apparently that's how you become a Freemason. And he claimed that they had a stone from the original Temple of Solomon in his lodge, yeah? And the reason they regard Solomon so highly is because he turned to false gods. He knew strange women in the Bible, yeah? And he began worshipping other gods and getting involved in witchcraft, okay? So this symbol, Solomon's seal, not the Star of David, but Solomon's seal, this interwoven star, is witchcraft, okay? Like I said, Solomon knew strange women and they turned him to this witchcraft, okay, in the Bible. And Solomon was highly favoured by God prior to this. And he was given great wisdom and so on, and everything else that he wanted until he turned to false gods. Now what I think's going on is clearly these people are very well rehearsed in their Bible and were once born again Christians. However, what I think's going on is they're being manipulated by witches, just like as it was with Solomon. Yeah, the strange women he knew. There's definitely witchcraft taking place at this church. We know that for sure from other videos I've done, and they have managed to manipulate the leaders. Okay, that's what I think's going on here. That, I think, is the best explanation here. They've been manipulated by witches. Okay, they were once Christians, and they probably still think they're doing the work of God, but in actual fact, these witches have taken over. That's evident with their presentations, they like to call them, but they're rituals. And well, they're wearing masonic rings. A lot of what's in these presentations is pagan, and it's just getting worse and worse. They're being manipulated. Yeah, some of them, probably those at the highest levels, know full well what they're doing, but then others are just being manipulated and they're just being taken for a ride. Yeah. Oh dear. Now, which one is Brian, I wonder? Don't know. Seems like a nice guy, yeah. But he's one of them, unfortunately. He's a Freemason. Look, he's wearing the Masonic ring. You gotta be careful of these people, right? Beware of wolves in sheep's clothing, as Christ warns. How are they doing such a good job of fooling people? Yeah, they still seem like Christians, you know, harmless, yet they're deceiving everyone. This is so bizarre. How this is all unfolded is so bizarre. I mean, it's got to be the Oscar-winning performance, this, from these worship leaders. They're giving actors a bad name. Wow. The other thing that is becoming perfectly clear now is these leaders are Freemasons. They're all wearing these Masonic rings. There is no such thing as a Christian Freemason. Their ways violate the laws of the Bible. I know that from what my duty manager at the swimming pool I used to work in told me about Freemasonry, and it's the reason I decided not to delve any deeper. Everything he was telling me was biblically wrong. As a Christian, alarm bells should be ringing. The more you learn about Freemasonry, okay? It is not of God. It is not of the God of the Bible, okay? They will welcome those who are, but they'll welcome those of many other faiths as well, and try and merge them all together. Hence these pagan performances we're seeing, and this ecumenical one world religion agenda. That's what Freemasonry is.